gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. We have a very special leaderboard interview with you today, but first, as always, I am Ray Carcillo in beautiful Los Angeles, California, and finally, the sun is shining, the weather is warm, my best friend in the world, Lee Elias in Philly, is having a nice day as well, and we are joined by a terrific actor. You have seen him in the Academy Award-winning motion picture Green Book. You've seen him in Power. You've seen him in everything. You've seen him in Irishman. Craig DiFrancia is here. Craig,
Yes,
how's
sir.
it going, buddy?
Hey guys, how are you, man? Thanks for having me on the show. I'm really glad to be here. This is great.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. You are, of course, a fellow Yankee, Giant, Ranger, Knick fan, to my understanding.
Yes,
so we're gonna gang up on Lee today.
New York is in the blood, baby.
Yes, there we go. Lee, finally, we've had a bunch of Philly people on.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't reluctantly do this episode. I'm actually looking forward to the challenge. I'm not gonna lie to you, all right? But like you said, but my New York knowledge is pretty equal to my Philadelphia knowledge. So we'll see how this plays out. Either way, everyone's gonna win.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes, but we've had a lot of Philly people on lately, so this will be a nice change of pace. Finally, the odds are ever in my favor, Lee.
I got your back, Ray. I got your
Thanks,
back.
Craig. I appreciate it.
I know it's tough with the 27 World Series, guys. I know it's going to be tough for you guys to have to defend your teams tonight. As always, being a Yankee fan is a real hurdle in life, and I feel for you.
Listen, I've been a Yankee fan since I'm 6 years old. I mean, I still have my Ron Guidry and Greg Nettles and Reggie Jackson baseball cards somewhere in my locker somewhere.
Nice.
But oh my God, yeah. So blessed to be a Yankee fan. I mean, everybody,
Yep.
Either you love them or hate them. They're like the Cowboys of the the baseball genre. But I'm a Yankee fan, and I take my son. I go to the games 4 or 5 times a season at least.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I miss Yankee Stadium since going to the West Coast. I see them always on the West Coast trips when they play the Angels and stuff like that. I actually saw them went up to San Fran last year to see them on that West Coast trip in the National League, which was fun. But
Nice.
I miss Yankee Stadium, man. So you're very, very, very lucky to get there, and your son's very lucky as well.
I know, it's a blessing, man. Every time you go there, I mean, the electricity is always there. Once you walk in that stadium, I mean,
yeah,
it's electric, man. It's different than any ballpark. I mean, I don't know if because I'm a fan. I mean, I've been to Fenway, I've been to stadiums all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
But man, there's something electric about that field, man. I can't explain. It's just the best, man. It's just the best.
That's actually interesting because we've talked about this on the show previously. Obviously, new Yankee Stadium opened about 10 years ago now, 11. But as somebody, you mentioned Nettles and Jackson. What do you feel about the difference between old Yankee Stadium and new Yankee Stadium? Has that energy? Because to me, I feel like the energy's there, but it's not as like it once was.
I agree with you. I have to agree with you 100%, Ray, man. The new stadium is beautiful. It's like a coliseum. It's gorgeous. I love the nostalgia, all the places you can walk into, all the museum and stuff like that. I mean, to see all the balls autographed is fantastic. Mm-hmm. But I do have a chair. I have a chair from old Yankee Stadium. So
nice.
That's one of my pieces. But unfortunately, I have to agree with you. I mean, the old stadium is where I grew up. I mean, that was the original Field of Dreams for me. So I am partial to the old stadium, but we're getting a little bit up there in age. So you gotta move with the times, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they fit more people in there.
That's true. Yeah. At least fit them more comfortably, at least for sure.
Exactly.
Not on top of each other like we used to be at the old stadium. But yeah. So I mean, speaking of baseball, I mean, we're gonna get into your acting and stuff later and all that other stuff, but we'll get to it right.
Whatever. Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather talk sports, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. What we love to do here is it's in the name of the show, right? It's Geeks Who Like Sports. I like to offer folks a chance to talk about stuff they might not get a chance to typically talk about. Obviously, being a Yankee fan, I'm sure you've heard that baseball is putting up these ideas of a half a season starting in July, and the players are arguing they want their full salary. What do you think about the prospect of a half season and what's going on with the negotiations right now?
I mean, I heard Blake Snell talking out. He's not going to do it. He doesn't want to play, and he wants his full salary, stuff like that. I mean, listen, I don't know about working for half pay. I mean, if they're going to do a half a season, I think that they should get paid their salary for that, not the full salary. They should get paid for half of their salary for that time that they are actually playing on the field. You know, I mean, and another thing I wanted to mention, if I can, is how can you expect a guy to go out there and play for half pay?
Right.
Right? I mean, seriously. I mean, would you do it? Would you do it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough scenario. It feels like it's going to be a lose-lose because the owners, I mean they have brought up a good point that if they're doing it in front of empty stadiums, they're losing all this money on concessions, on the gate, all this other stuff. But at the same time, a contract's a contract. If you're going to count it as a full season, it's a tough thing. Lee, what are your thoughts on this in the Blake Snell comments recently?
You know, honestly, you know, I'm a business person. I'd incentivize this somehow. And, like, this is where the MLB and the MLB BPA really have to work together. Like, maybe something like, okay, look, we're going to pay you the full salary, but a percentage of it's going to be given to charity, to a COVID-19 charity. We're going to incentivize it. You know, it becomes a tax break. Like, I agree with both of you. Like this is one of those things, like, where both things are right. Like, yes, they should be paid their full amount, but also, yes, they have to do what's best for their game. And it's always a tough thing when it comes down to negotiation. I mean, I can tell you this, that the baseball players and the owners, and you know, typically I'm very pro-athlete, pro-business, but there's just no way they can comprehend what, I guess, an average person is going through right now. And that's not meant to be a shot. I mean, if I'm making millions of dollars a year, I'm not going to be down to reality of the guy who's not being able to go to his place of business right now. But it's all how it's portrayed. Like, are you doing what's best for the sport? You know, again, the teams are going to lose a ton of money no matter how they look at this. This is going to be a loss this season in terms of financials. There's no way they can make the money without fans being in the building. Not even broadcast contracts will come close to that. But look, it's got to come down to good negotiation. It's not going to be that they're paid in full, whether they deserve that or not. And it's not going to be they're paid in half. And they're going to have to come to some understanding that's best for the game. And you know, you have to trust them to do that. And obviously, it's not just baseball, right? That's every possible sport. I will say, though, that if the NBA offered me the chance to play in Disney World and live there in quarantine, I'd take half pay to do that, as long as they turn all the rides on. That would be my only, you know.
That's a good one.
Yeah. No,
like,
sure.
What do you got to do? I got to play the Lakers at 9, and I got the Mountain at 10, and then we're going to Epcot at midnight, and no one's there.
It's a small world after all.
Yeah, right? I mean, I could see teams like throwing it, you know, it's the first round. Who are we playing? We're playing the Lakers? Yeah, listen, we're going to go 0-4 in this and then go to Galaxy's Edge so I can do the Star Wars ride without the people bothering me. That makes a lot of sense to me if I'm doing that, right? You know, but yeah, no, look, it's all around tough. This is what I'll say. This is like my serious note on it. It's unprecedented in business, in sports. I mean, modern sports. I mean, obviously it happened 100 years ago, but it's a totally different time period. So they're going to have to make unprecedented decisions. And at the end of the day, and we've said this on several episodes, Craig, is that the integrity of the game has to remain, meaning that no matter what happens, we don't want the season ending with anyone saying something like, well, if the pandemic never happened, they never would have won, or this never would have happened. Again, the winning teams will be known as the pandemic time period teams. But we want to avoid any scenario where it's like, well, if they had done it right, this would have happened. You know what I mean? So they're going to have to figure all that out. But player salaries are tough. I mean, those guys want their money. I get it. I mean, and again, though, the players don't get paid when they're not playing games. Remember, like professional sports contracts are only live during the season, not even during the playoffs. So, I mean, they might be able to say, look, we're playing half the games, half the money. That's what we can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's a fascinating point. I mean it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Supposedly we'll be finding out in the next couple of weeks though, as the MLB and MLBPA are in intense negotiations, because it does seem that everybody wants to come to some kind of an agreement and get games started by July, which I think would be good for everyone, because I don't know about you, Craig, but I am tired of being up at 3 a.m. trying to watch Korean baseball just to get my baseball fix.
It's awful. I mean, I became such an MMA fan. It's like that's the only thing I could watch and sit down and have a cocktail with and enjoy some sports, some competition. But getting back to the point that you said, Lee, about the integrity of the game, that's very important. Huge, as a matter of fact. You know, I mean, we seem to have lost that a little bit along the way with these enormous amount of salaries that they're getting. I'm not saying they deserve them, they don't deserve them. It is what it is. However, this may actually bring it back to the integrity of the sport. You know, I mean,
it's a great point.
You know, I'm an actor. I want to act. I mean, obviously, I want to make my salary, but I still want to act. You know what I mean? Like, a baseball player still wants to play. You know, and you know, they should still, you know, they should still have that and keep the integrity of the sport. This way, it has some merit, and it has some justice. At least, let's see something, guys. You know?
Yeah, you know. Here's what I'll tell you too. We talked about this a little bit on our main episode this week about, you know, when it comes to sports, like the leagues are really trying to come back. And like, because I've heard a lot of people say, like, why don't they just cancel the season and move on? And, you know, that would be the easy thing to do. And I give all the sports leagues a lot of credit. They really are trying to find any possible way to come back. Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, said just a couple days ago, like, we're committed to finishing the season. And I'm actually kind of shocked to hear him say that at this point, this late in the year. But, you know, that's the thing is that, like, I hate to say that because I don't like to sound sentimental. Ray will tell you that. I'm not a big sentimental guy, but it's like, look, people, we need our sports right now. We need this. This is like the biggest Americana thing that can possibly come back right now that will give people the most amount of comfort. I can't think of anything outside a vaccine right now that will give people comfort more than sports. You know, I mean, so you know,
it's escape. It's an escape, and people, you know, you sit there, we analyze the game. It takes your mind off of everything. You really, you know, sit there, watch the plays, you know, watch the players going on, you know, and pick and choose and stuff, and it just it's really helps your brain. And now is more than ever is when we need it. I mean, you know, how many movies, how many TV shows, how many things are we going to keep watching and binge watching and stuff, you know, and then, you know, all the networks are running out of content too. So, you know, what the hell are we going to do, man? You know, it's going to turn around.
I don't want Tiger King to be our pastime. All right. It's devastating to me. All right. I want, it's funny too, because like, I'm a huge hockey guy. All right. Humongous, right? And I love my football and my baseball and my basketball, but I've never wanted to see anything more than now. I mean, anything. Like, I spend nights watching Ray do live play-by-play on digital video game baseball, and it's hilarious. It's you know what I mean? Like, and it's a fix, right? But yeah, no. Where I was going with this is, I hope that the MLBPA, the MLB, and really every sports league and players association, they have to understand that side of it. Like, look, this is the first time in your life you're not the heroes right now that you usually are. Like, people, we know who the heroes are. They're doctors, they're nurses, they're people, clerks, sanitation workers. We know who the heroes are right now. They're not the heroes right now, but we need them. And now's their chance to step up to that. And I'm not saying don't make your money. I'm not against players making their money. I'm not saying take a pay cut, but this would be my answer to Ray's question. Find a damn middle ground and work it out and get back so we can watch some baseball, basketball, football, hockey, whatever. All right. Figure it out. All right. We don't need a strike situation right now or a lockout. Figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. If they don't figure it out soon, there won't be baseball probably. Like, it's the clock is ticking, folks. The clock is ticking.
I also I'm sorry. I heard Teixeira talking about that the players should be playing right now. Did you guys hear this?
No,
I missed this.
Yeah, I heard it on the radio the other day that Teixeira was saying that the players should play. You know, I mean, this is a guy who you know, made his money, and big Mark Teixeira fan. Don't get me wrong, but you know, at the same time, he's got a point. You know, I mean, he needed it, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think we're leaning towards the players should play. Yes, it sucks that they might have to take a pay cut, but it's. I mean, and this is something I've told Lee too. It's also, again, like he said, hard for folks who are working from paycheck to paycheck to tolerate millionaires fighting with billionaires.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to, and it gets very frustrating. And the thing is especially baseball, and this goes to baseball in general, baseball's been losing its audience slowly but steadily over the past couple decades, right? Slowly but surely, it's been shrinking. Football's been cutting into it. Basketball's been cutting into it. And there's a chance that if they don't have baseball this year, at a time where, like Lee said, and Craig, you guys said, that you could really kind of rise up and really give the people what they need right now, it could really hurt them in the long run too, and only cut into that fan base even more. So I really think they need to, if they care about the game as much as they say they do, I think they really need to take a long, hard look at themselves and, like Lee said, find the middle ground. So.
What else are you going to do? Sit at home?
Yeah. They're going to binge watch Tiger King, and nobody wants that.
Tiger King, the next generation. It's just sequels. I mean, yeah. No. Look, here's the thing. This is the last thing I'll say on this is that I think it's becoming increasingly clear that Americans are really reaching their breaking point. And like, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It's very clear that people are reaching their breaking point, and that this cannot sustain itself in its current form much longer. But I guarantee you, knowing our country, if you put baseball on, everyone will be fine. Everything will seem to come to, if you put the professional sports leagues back on, you won't hear a peep out of anybody. The news channels will just have to go away. It's like, I'm watching the game.
Yeah, the
no
game
press
is on.
conference.
Exactly. I have something to do.
Playing?
Sit here and
Who's
watch
playing? Cheating Astros. Yeah, I would watch the Astros cheat right now. Better than what I'm watching on the TV. All right, that's where I'm at with all this.
Oh man, I don't know. I have a sore spot with those Astros, man.
Yeah.
They robbed the Yankees. I'm sure they robbed the Yankees of 2. So.
Yep.
So
they
I'll tell you,
the Yankees,
things.
the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They're just. Oh God.
You've been extremely critical of the Astros and the MLB, and I am never going to feel bad for a Yankee fan, although I respect your organization a lot.
Of course. We're just trying. We do
It's-
have the
it's
most
not-
championships in any sport, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
You lead
Yeah.
American sports, and then the Montreal Canadiens, I think, are number 2, right?
Yeah. Montreal has
and
23. We have 27.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Devastating.
I don't feel bad for you. I know it's tough. It's tough not winning every single year. I know.
Yeah.
Champagne problems,
Yeah.
Hashtag champion problems. There we go.
Rings.
I've got both of mine. That's it. My lifetime. I got 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, all right. So you mentioned breaking points. Craig, you've played some characters who had some pretty low breaking points, some really quick to anger guys. Speaking of binging things, you can watch binge Craig now in Gravesend on Amazon Prime. Which congrats on that.
Very much.
And yeah, speaking of a character who has a bit of a low breaking point. But we want to get into a little bit of your acting now. Obviously, it's having a guest of your caliber on the show. What's it been like to play some of these characters? Like, you've played a lot of tough guys, a lot of guys with feels like a little bit of maybe a chip on the shoulder. Talk about some of that.
Well, I'm a guy that's always prepared. I like to I do my homework. I go very deep into what I do, just like anything else. If you're going to be successful at anything, you got to go full boat right into it. So, I have friends that may know somebody or may not know somebody that may be used to that life, let's just say. So, I get the mannerisms down. I get the hand gestures, the stare, all these things, all these little nuances that, hey, how you doing? This type of stuff that then it just becomes innate in you. And, my character, Danny Cuccio, is a lot of fun to play, man. I mean, I almost broke a chair in the audition room because I had to mimic the fight scene, which was pretty funny. So I had to get up off the chair and the chair went flying back and a piece of wood came off the chair. They're like, okay, Craig, you got the part, leave us alone. So which was pretty cool. But I had a great time with that. Willie DeMeo was a great director, good to work with him. He really did a great job with that. He really came out in that, and I was really amazed with his performance. Patrick Borriello, who is the one that I was in the fight scene with in season 2, another amazing actor. I mean, these guys have been together since A Bronx Tale. Okay, these guys were all the little kids since A Bronx Tale, and they still put together these pieces and really rise to the occasion. And I'm glad you guys liked the show, man. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll get some more episodes out of that. I mean, I won't, but it is.
Yeah, I didn't want to say, but I didn't want to spoil anything. But it's happened a couple times in your career, and I know Lee was very enthusiastic. But how's it feel?
Yeah,
how's it feel to get whacked in a show?
I'm always getting whacked, man. You know, you get that phone call. You know, you get that phone call. You know, it's like 10:30 on a Friday night. It's always late at night. It's like a 10 o'clock, 10:30 call, and it's like, you know, it's this one was Bart Weinrich, who's one of the now executive producers, one of the producers of Power, and I never got a call from him, and all of a sudden the phone's ringing, and I'm out to dinner with friends. I'm like, holy cow, you know, hello, hey. Bart, how are you? You know, Craig, you know, your new episode, we wrote you into the new season, and unfortunately, it's going to be death, you know? So I'm like, Bart, so you're the hatchet man of Power. You know, I was wondering who it was because everybody's always getting killed in malicious ways. So, you know, but I did go out. It was pretty good.
I gotta ask. This is like the one acting question I wanted to ask, because anytime you're working with the people you're working with and the type of shows you're working with, you're getting whacked is just a collateral. It's part of the deal. It's gonna happen eventually. So I am gonna give a full spoiler to our audience right now. If you want to watch Power and you don't want to know what we're about to talk about, you should pause now.
Yeah. All
right. But man, that was an awesome ending. I mean, you really like classic mob takedown. You know what I mean? Like, how do you prepare for that? I mean, because like you had me convinced. I mean, like that's really the key to those scenes is people never give the person getting killed the credit that they're due. Because like it's like if I'm doing one of these, like you know what I mean. If I'm backing up, you're doing something right. Like
did you back up? Did you back up a little bit when it happened?
I really do. When they again, I spoiler alert, but when they put the drill in your head and I saw your face, I was like, no. Yeah, I mean, and the knee too, obviously, but like I was like, wow, you know, that was powerful.
Wild stuff. Yeah, I had bruises on my forearms and my knees because when Joe Sikora, Tommy, cracks me in the face, I went down on the ground. I had some knee pads on, but like I said, we throw ourselves into it completely, and sometimes you miss the mat, and it happens. But when Bill Sadler, he plays Teresi, Tommy's dad on the show. When I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting, and I'm trying to envision this and getting worked up, and all of a sudden, I just felt the fear of God in me, like, holy
dude,
cow!
I saw it. I saw that in your face.
And
I was convinced.
The lights, they were fixing the lights, right? And Bill said to the director, Rob, he goes, Craig's ready, Craig's there, and all of a sudden we just shot it, and I really almost felt that drill in my head that episode, and
I gotta tell you, because when I was watching this, I remember, because I watched it again, obviously, and I remember thinking, about your process here. I'm like, okay, this man has to believe now that these men are gonna kill him, like, and then I remember this is how good you were. That's and again, I'm sorry to fawn over you a little bit too much here, but I was thinking that, like, how is he gonna get himself there? And then I saw your face, and I stopped thinking that immediately, and I was worried about the character. Oh. Now, you know what I mean? Like it switched over, and then again, they did a great job with the cinematography of how they were able to capture just your eyes, and then like what you were able to do there. Like I said, people getting killed don't get enough credit to their acting. I did joke one time that in Twilight, the best acting Kristen Stewart did was when she was playing dead. You know what I mean? But I'm seriously like to play that fear. It's not easy because, like I said, it's not actually happening. You got yourself there, man. So like where I'm going with this, and this is what I want to say, because everyone on this show right now has achieved a high level of something, right? And I want to go back to what you've been saying since the beginning, is how you throw yourself in, you do your research, and that's one of the things that I find across mediums of people who really find success. Whether it be Ray in the comic field and the movie field, and you as an actor, me in sports, it's that relentless passion and willingness to do anything you have to do to make sure you're doing the best job, getting to where you need to be, turning over every rock. And like, I know we have a lot of listeners here that are really trying to make it in whatever that they're doing. Again, we have a lot of sports guys, we got a lot of video games guys, but we have people all over the place. And I wonder if you could just speak to that again, because like this is your craft, man. This is your life. This is your pro sport. And in your process to get to where you're at today is no different than what an athlete has to go through to get to the pros.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, you couldn't have said it better, because if you're going to do something, you go all the way with it. There's no stopping. If you want to be successful at it, you just keep going and going and going and take no for an answer. Don't listen to anybody. Keep your vision and your focus. It's key. It's paramount to any kind of success in any business. Don't listen to the naysayers. There's going to be a lot of negative energy around you. Keep your heart, keep your spirit strong, and keep your energy alive. Do what you do and do it to the best of your ability. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. You have to live in this little bit of state of uneasiness, because if you get comfortable, you get complacent. There's no room for that. You're not going to be successful, because guess what? The other guy's right there, and he's right behind you, and he's doing his work, and he's doing it harder than you and stronger than you and more than you. He's up at 4 a.m. at the gym, not you. And if you're going to stop your butt and do it, man, it ain't going to happen. I mean, I've been acting for about 17 years now, and I mean, over the past 5 years has really, I've been very blessed and very grateful. But man, I busted my ass, and I have, and I continue to. I love it. I do it. I don't picture anything I could do without it. And for all the listeners out there and sports, I mean, get out there, play in the rain, play when nobody's playing, do the extra push-ups, do the extra laps, take the extra free throws, guys, because you know what? You want to be the best, you got to act like the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you've been watching The Last Dance at all on ESPN?
No, I haven't. I want to see that, though. I heard my buddy just told me about that.
It's real.
Yeah, I'm only bringing it up because Jordan talks a lot in there about who he is and what he had to do to succeed and what he expects of everyone around him. And one of the things that I think acting really brings to the table that's similar to sports, because I said all these professions are teams, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that Jordan always demanded was the absolute best from his teammates. I mean, Jordan was always the hardest worker on the team, right? And they all admit that, but he expected, like, you're not going to give me 99% and be on the Bulls. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I imagine, like, when you look at all on set, and, obviously it's the saying in everything. It's the saying in sports and the saying in acting that there's no small roles, but you got to be there for each other. You got to push each other. And it's like, and especially, when you're working with some of the people you've worked with, I can't imagine some of these actors you've worked with and actresses would accept anything less than 100%, even if you're on screen for 1 second.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Listen, you got to be ready. I got 2 words for you. Bring it. Whenever you're going, and in sport, in life, in anything, bring it. Bring your very best, and don't tolerate anything. Be the hardest worker in the room. I think The Rock says that all the time, man. But it's a very, very apropos thing if you want to be successful. I mean, I've worked with some of the best, and really, really great people, and everybody has to give. Giving of yourself creates a collaborative, creates a team, a unit, a strength, a bond that can't be broken, man. And if everybody's committed to it, who's gonna beat you? Nobody. I mean, I was working with when in Green Book, I was working with Viggo Mortensen, and I mean, he was. Here I am. He walked right up to me, and we started talking, and he went right into the lines. He was about to shoot another scene, but when the first day I arrived down in New Orleans for set, he comes down and he's like, Dominic, come stai? And he started rattling off Italian to me. Now, I don't speak fluent Italian at all. I'm very conversational. And so we started going into it, and it was just, if you got to bring it, man. That's all I'm going to say. It's like, if Jordan comes up to you and you're trying out for the Bulls, man, you better bring it, because you better sit down.
Yeah. When you do get a chance to watch The Last Dance, you'll see that's exactly what he did. Yeah, I'll show you this too. I'm known for this show.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm known on this show for having crazy mugs sometimes, but this is one of my new favorite ones. It says, "No one cares, work harder."
That's right. That's right.
I love that. I love that, and you emulate that, man. Anyway, Ray, I'm taking up all the host time. I'm gonna switch it back.
Speaking of cups, look at that. This one's for Ray.
Yeah, there we go. New York home. There we go.
All right. Can we talk about the Rangers now?
My cup is just my cup is our cup. The Geeks Who Like Sports.
Everybody wins.
You gotta send me one of those, man. I love those. Those are great.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So oh man. So one of the things I want to ask is you play a lot of wise guys, but if there's one role that you could, what would be your dream role? If you could write a role, what would be the one role that you want to play?
a king or like a Viking or something like Braveheart would be a lot of fun. Just doing a lot of combat, stage combat, just getting down and dirty and killing tyrants and things like that. That's what I would love to do. I mean, that seems like a real challenge for me. It's definitely out of my wheelhouse. So expand me, and I know I can. I feel confident in the role, but I would really like to do that. That would be a tops. And who knows what the future holds? I have a few projects lined up when this pandemic is over. So,
yeah, one of those, the Sound of Philadelphia, one that we want to talk about. Of course, obviously, Lee is in Philly, and something we joke about a lot is, or we were joking about before, is that the Philly mob doesn't get a lot of love, but it looks like you guys might be shining a little light on that. Can you tell us a little about that project?
I can, yeah. I got a call from Diane Heary and said, Craig, we want you to come down and play it. I've been to Philadelphia a lot. By the way, Lee, I do love Philadelphia. I'm a John's roast pork, Philly cheesesteak guy, and Tony Luke's. Those are my two favorites.
You got it right. There you go.
I go there every single time I'm there. Literally, I get 10 of them. I put them in the freezer or give them to my friends. I get at least 10.
Craig, we've bribed Ray with cheesesteaks many times to get him.
Yeah, I've flown back from LA just to go see him, and mostly get cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's a hot
you gotta buy the
commodity,
cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
They're great. Sound of Philadelphia. Yeah. Got the call. Then I was down in Philadelphia, and we went down, and so I work with Matthias Schoenertz, who's an amazing, incredible actor, man. Wow. I mean, what a great guy, gracious. I was on set for 3 days. I shot a couple of scenes with those guys. So warm, so welcoming. And meanwhile, I'm playing his adversary. He's coming into my boss's club, and he's got to talk to him, and he's got to get through me to get to my boss. So story and soup right there. And but yeah, really, really great guy. It's going to be a really gritty film. I can't really talk much about it, but once it's out, I'll come back on the show and we'll talk all about it, man. It's going to be a good one.
Sounds like a plan. We're going to hold you to that for sure. But speaking, getting back to the sports, getting back to New York sports, Philly sports, we got a lot of going on. Going into football now. I don't know if you heard. I want to get your opinion on this breaking news, which typical.
Are you talking about Baker?
Yeah, I'm talking about Baker. I'm talking about DeAndre Baker.
What
are your thoughts on the first round draft pick for the Giants last year having a warrant out for his arrest for armed robbery?
Youth, man. I mean, you're king of the world. You just got drafted in the NFL last year. You're playing ball with the big boys, man. It reminds me of when Plax shot himself. I mean, it's just like, what are you thinking, man? And who are you hanging out with that is not advising you correctly to be like, yo, man, take the loss. You lost it. That's it. Guess what? You'll make it up in a week. You know what I mean? Like, cut your losses and don't be a sore loser. I mean, what are you doing, man? It made no sense to me. I feel bad for his family, but at the same time, I mean, you lay with dogs, you get fleas. I'm not saying that it's out of his control, because he's a man, he's a grown man, and he knows what he's doing. But you gotta put your head on your shoulders, man. I mean, that was a very shameful move. I mean, what are you doing? To robbing watches? I mean, what is?
We were talking on this week's episode because an NHL player just got in trouble on the Capitals for a private chat, and he's saying some really grotesque things, and the Capitals kicked him off the team. And what I talked about, and I'm going to say the same thing right now, is the eyes of the world are on athletes, and they're looking for them to screw up. Like, now's not the time to do something like that. Because here's the thing, I mean, having a warrant out for your arrest is not something you can really hide from, but I mean, if things are normal right now, these things are not happening. And again, athletes have to be smarter right now. Like, we were saying that what happened with this Capitals guy was he had a private conversation that was hacked, which is wrong to begin with, that someone would do that. Yeah. But he was saying some wrong things, and they kicked him off the team. And it's like, guys, you got to be smarter than this right now. But this goes back to what I said about athletes not being able to live in reality with the rest of us. But I'll also say this: you have to be a little bit different to be a pro athlete. These guys are the most competitive people on the planet, and they can never shut it off. So guy dares him, hey, let's go rob something. Well, you won't do it. I mean, that turns into something for some reason.
But armed robbery.
Horrible.
Armed robbery, man. And I go to Giants training camp every year. I won't say a bad thing about the Giants. I love the Giants. I will go there, and if he's there, I'll give him a pass on that one. But I mean, someone's got to give him a serious reality check and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, this is also going to be a real telltale sign about just how serious Gettleman is about changing the culture. Because he's been talking about that a long time, and if there's even a hint of truth that he's guilty for this, then I really don't think he's going to be a Giant much longer.
So.
He's gone. He's gone immediately. And they're already supposedly Quinton Dunbar of the Seahawks was supposedly his accomplice in this, but it's already come out that the victims have said no, Dunbar was just there, he wasn't doing anything, so he's going to likely be cleared. But it's all going to come down to Baker, on Baker, better or worse, as this terrible story, really terrible story.
We need sports back now. Now.
Yeah, if he was at OTAs, he wouldn't have been trying to rob somebody.
We need you back now. Do it for your fellow athletes, if anything. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. And again, there's no excuse for armed robbery. Maybe in the movies, maybe in TV and movies. Not right now, though.
Yeah.
I got whacked for it. I got shot 5 times in Gravesend. But that was planned. That was not.
All part of the show, folks. All part of the show. Speaking about the things happening in the movies right now, not sure how much you want to talk about this, Craig, but Universal and AMC kind of going war of words about Universal saying they want to have more of their movies come out on VOD as well as in the theaters, and AMC basically refuses to show any Universal movies until then. You've also had the recent development of Amazon supposedly trying to buy AMC out as their stock continues to drop. As someone in the industry, how do you feel about the rise of VOD, obviously partially because with help from the pandemic, but also about the idea of maybe theaters aren't as prolific as they once were?
Well, this is, by the way, what you just told me has been news to me. This is the first I'm hearing of it. But it's tough. I mean, I love going to the movies. Since I'm a kid, I hope that doesn't end. I mean, the VOD, everything is on demand now. I mean, look at even the way we're communicating. It's just the way it is for now. Hopefully, but I mean, I'm more concerned of when is it going to get back up and running? When are we going to start creating new content? When are we going to start getting back on our feet? I mean, we're doing, we're doing castings over Skype and things like this, and video auditions, and they're all peripheral. I mean, we don't even know when it's going to start up again, and what are the guidelines? How are we going to be able on set? I mean, say your lead actor, like your lead athlete is, everybody's working and say just like a lead athlete, playing 2 games, played 3 games, all of a sudden he's got the virus. Now the whole team is possibly infected. The whole cast and crew is possibly infected. And then what? I mean, there's high risk in this. So, but the reward is there. It's just there's such an uneasiness of it.
Yeah.
That it's hard to make sense of it. That's what I guess I'm trying to convey.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. We were discussing potential. I love going to the movies too. Like, I love it. But one of the things we've been discussing recently. Yeah. We've been discussing recently just how the experience is not kept up fast enough, and how Amazon or even Disney. There's hints of Disney might be wanting to make their own theaters, to kind of just change the experience. But theaters are not in a bargaining position right now. No. And it's just, we were just talking about how they play the cards right. But I like where you're at. You're focused, like you said, on the craft. I mean, that's really all you can control.
I keep working.
And like I said,
I work and I keep doing what I can do and being who I am at the same point, because you have to practice. It's all in the preparation. Keep doing it, and you're gonna get better at it. Whatever it is. But I really am hoping that we can see some sports soon, guys, and then we'll have so we can stop talking about my acting. We could start talking about the Giants, winning by 3 points with 2 seconds left on the game,
Oh, hopefully. Actually, the schedules were just released. Have you had a chance to look at the NFL schedules lately?
I was looking at it before I got on with you guys. All right, so the Giants start out with the Steelers. Okay. I mean, I think we're going to do. I think we could win 7 games, and into a wild card.
That was my prediction as well. I said optimistic. If the Giants can steal a couple division games and steal a couple of games against like the Bears, and obviously they should beat the Cardinals, they should beat the Browns. Yeah, they could get 7 wins. At the same time, we're Giants fans, and we've seen them, crap the bed a few times over the years as well.
I know.
And they could just as easily end up as they can go 4-12 again. So it's going to be a really interesting year. Whereas Lee's Eagles, yeah, I know. There it is. There's the damn ratty old football. Jesus, it's older than all of us combined. Man,
look at
I
this.
think.
Yeah, look at this. Come on, man. This is a hutch. This is a hutch. You know how old this is? Come on, give me a break.
I'm saying, yeah, it's older than us. That's what I'm saying. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Lee's Eagles. Meanwhile.
You're a diehard, Lee. I respect that, man.
I appreciate it.
I'll tell you what, though. Go ahead, God. I'm sorry.
No, we were joking before the show about the sound of Philadelphia being the Eagles fans booing their own team. That's the real sound of Philadelphia. I know the sound of Philadelphia. No, I'm just saying, but it's look, I won't say anything about the Eagles because I honestly don't want to jinx them. I'll let you guys. I'll let the 2 Giants fans have their time.
And as we predicted on a previous episode, I believe, looking at their schedule, that Lee's Eagles should expect a double-digit win season. They should.
Really? I haven't seen the Eagles schedule yet, so it's pretty easy. Let's say.
It's minimum 10-6, maximum 12-4.
Well,
I can see.
To be fair, going. To be fair. Okay, this is if the NFC East plays out like the way it's supposed to. And, and we all know this. We're all NFC East fans. There is no safe games in the NFC East. The Redskins are going to screw somebody. The Cowboys might have this honeymoon period and be amazing. The Giants might have that too. We just don't know. I've always said that of the NFC East. And Craig, we've been calling them the NFC least the last year because they were so bad. Right, true. But the truth is this, and it's one of the only divisions where those teams really screw each other over every single year, no matter what their record is.
Last game of the year, it happens all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's also the only division with a Super Bowl win. Every team has at least one Super Bowl win. Oh, like it's a historically stacked division. I mean, yes, finally the Eagles finally completed it, Lee. Finally, a couple of years ago. Congrats, buddy. So. But that
was a big win too, by the way. I mean, you had your run with, I think it was you played against the Raiders with Jaworski, right? When you lost the
Super Bowl 15, yeah.
And then with Donovan McNabb, right? How many Super Bowls have you been to?
Yep. That was the third.
Okay.
Yeah, this was our third. And it was the best one because we won.
Yeah.
But no, listen, Eagles fans have known a lot of pain. Eagles fans have known a lot of pain. You got to remember, we went to 4 NFC championship games in a row and won one of them. I mean, again, only the Bills have something worse than that when you really think about it. That was painful. And the Vikings. Yeah. I know you're a Vikings fan too.
Yes.
And by the way, I really appreciate the NFC championship game that year. That was fun.
Yeah.
I do want to switch gears real quick out of football, if I may, because we asked you, obviously, before the show about your gaming experience. And I noticed specifically you put some NHL games on there. And then you talked about you love the Rangers. So I'd be remiss if I didn't dive into hockey here a little bit and push Ray out of the way. And now it's my turn to talk to you about hockey.
I wanted to ask him about Daniel Jones at a Duke.
Okay,
man, I'm not gonna lie. All right, wait. So let's talk hockey first. Let's give Lee his time. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I lost control of the show.
What
happened here?
Jesus.
Come here, I'll give you a cheesesteak. Come on over.
I'm ready, man. I'll listen. I'll drive. I'll take that 2-hour drive. No, but seriously, the I used to play in college. We used to play Sega 90. We used to play 95 NHL hockey. I mean, I'm dating myself up there, but man, I learned all the players. That's how I got good. I mean, we used to play religiously. Me and my college roommates used to play all night, and it was so much fun. I mean, we used to do the one-timers, and it was right when Richter was goalie. I mean, we had Messier, we had that. I mean, the dream team when we finally hit it. We were stacked. And did you guys play that game or am I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. NHL 94 and 95. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Craig, just so you know, NHL 94 and 95 are still on the top 10 list of hockey games all time. And that's with every game that's ever come since. And like there's a call. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the NHL is holding a tournament soon for that game. Yes. Where NHL 94 is holding a tournament for that game. So like that's how big this game is.
They're doing a charity tournament. NHL 94. It will be streamed in the next couple of weeks.
Oh man, I'm in that. I want in on that.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's also open to the public. Like there's also going to be a public bracket that you can sign up, and they give you links how to download the game to an emulator to your computer.
Hang on a second. I got something right here. I got to show you.
I'm telling you, man, NHL 94 and 95 just inspires people. Just inspires people to do crazy. There you go.
That's look at that.
That's
that is
awesome.
An EA Sports Genesis controller.
This is why this show exists, so you can show that off amongst friends.
That is awesome. One of us.
We used to keep stats and oh man, I mean, I still whip it out every now and again. It's a great one of the best games ever, man. Let's face it, it was epic.
You know what's cool is I've had the chance to work and interview and be with Mike Richter and Mark Messier and some of the guys from that team, and they're still just the most awesome people in the world. Like being around Richter I mean, I guarantee you he's exactly the way he was in the locker room when you're around him just hanging out, because he's fun to be around. But that was a special team. So you don't know this, but obviously I grew up in Philadelphia. I love the Flyers. I'm a hockey fan first, but I actually worked for the New York Rangers for several years. And I still to this day, and I say this publicly even on the show, it has been my favorite job that I was working for somebody else for ever. I mean, and the magic of Madison Square Garden, I said this several times on the show, and I'm going to repeat it again. It's like you talked about Yankee Stadium before. There is just something different about walking into Madison Square Garden than every other rink, and I have been to a lot of NHL arenas. But game night with the Rangers fans, it is a really special thing. I was privileged to be in that world for a little bit. But I know that's your team, and I love that you played as that team in NHL 95. I mean, it's simple rules, right? Skate, pass, shoot, score. That's it. One time.
BC the one-timer. BC one-timer.
I don't know if you guys can see that. This is at NHL94.com. They are doing a tournament that is benefiting the Mario Lemieux Foundation in support of cancer research and patient care. Every entrant has to donate $19.94 to get their spot in the tournament.
Oh, I love it. I'm in.
Yeah.
I have two questions for you guys. That's so good that they're doing that, especially for the cancer patients. It's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
But I have two. Well, first, I wanted to talk to you about Mike Richter real quick. I was at a playoff game when they were playing the Devils. I'm in Brendan Byrne Arena, I think it still was, right? And they went to commercial. The crowd was kind of quiet. I was fortunate enough to have really good seats, and Richter had to be about 30 feet from me. So I got up and screamed, "Mike, I'm watching you all game." He gave me the stick up. He put his stick up and slammed it on the ice, man. It was like a magical experience, man.
I love that. Great. That's what he's like. That's what he's like. Now, here's a little known fact about him. He grew up in Philadelphia. So he grew up actually a Flyers fan. And he admitted that to me, and I was shocked. I was shocked that he admitted that to me. But like, this is what he said, and this is the credit to the Rangers. He's like, I grew up watching the Broad Street Bullies beat the crap out of people, and he goes, when I got to the Rangers, I just wanted to play like that. And I was like, oh, so we're to blame for you guys beating us. Great. But just an amazing human being, just super fun to be around. And then Messier is still the most intense human being alive.
Oh.
I mean, it's I was at the NHL Awards in Vegas last year, and I was in the players' gifting suite, and they were giving suits away. So he shows up and he's trying the suit on, and we got this picture of him, and he looks like he's gonna murder someone. He's not upset. It's just him. He's just intensely like putting the suit on, and I'm like, dude, it's an award show. Like, I mean, but
that's what I would love to. I would love to see Messier in a mob movie. Craig, you got to see if you can get Messier into one of your films or TV shows.
I'll make a few calls.
Yeah.
We'll call it the polite mobster. He's just got those eyes, man. I'll tell you what, man. I played a lot. I would not want to face off against that guy. Like, you know, when you know somebody, you see a guy and you go, that's the guy. Like, this guy's eyes. I mean, I like, you know, God help if he proposes to someone or anything like that. You know, will you marry me? Like, just like, I don't know how, but yeah, I had to bring up the hockey because, like I said, I know you're a fan. I know. Real quick before we get to Daniel Jones out of Duke, which Ray likes to say. Before we get to Daniel Jones, you know, Lundqvist. I wanted to get a good Rangers fans. Lundqvist's career is obviously reaching its end. Might not be right now. Might not be this year. I don't know. But it's an athlete. We've talked on this show because I feel like Rangers fans are sometimes split over him in the sense of this. Everyone agrees his career is coming to an end, but I've heard half the Rangers fans show the respect that he absolutely deserves. And I've heard other Rangers fans with the attitude of, get him out of here, you know, like move him on. I can't stand that because the guy's put his time in. He should have a cup, right? So I wanted your thoughts on the life and times of Henrik Lundqvist in New York.
Because he's not valuable, you don't kick him to the curb, man. I'm a loyalist, you know. I don't agree with that. I'd like to see him finish his career and you know, I mean, obviously if he's not giving up 6 or 7 a game, but you know, I think he's great. I think he's fantastic. I'm in his corner, you know. It kind of reminds me of the way the Niners kind of did Montana dirty a little bit when he became a Chief, and they had a great run as well. But you know, sport is different now, you know. Yeah. It's the what have you done for me lately type thing. You don't deliver, you're out. You don't deliver, you're out. I understand that mentality. Keep the integrity of the sport at the same time. I mean, you know, it's like Brady's contract was up, you know. I mean, I like Brady. I like Brady. And actually my manager is a huge Patriots fan. So, you know, I always ask her, I said, you know, did it hurt more the first time or the second time the Giants beat you in the Super Bowl? That's my go-to.
Yeah. And I'll be behind her. We beat them too. Can't beat the NFC East boys.
Oh man, that's great. That's great.
You know, it's gonna be sad when Henrik moves on. I was of the camp where he deserves as much as respect as possible. He obviously still wants to play, but management's not going to let him now with Georgiev and Shesterkin there. So I was hoping before the deadline they would try to send him to a cup contender. They have him have one last run at something, try and get something in return, but also try and give him that one last shot at glory. Kind of like when was it Ray Bourque went from Boston to Colorado? Right? You know, so like kind of a similar situation there because again, I don't think as much as I want the Rangers to win this year, I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, the problem with that is always the goaltending position is tough because if you're a cup contender, you probably have a good goaltender. And I think too with Lundqvist, and this is the question I'd present to both of you is you know, will he retire as a Ranger? Because I don't think he'll play anywhere else. I'm not sure he would even move. Like he loves New York City too much. Yeah. So do you guys think he will retire as a Ranger? Or do you think we'll see him in another uniform?
I could definitely see him kind of like an Eli situation where he'll just retire. Like that'll be it. Yeah. Like once his contract is up, he's done.
Ray, you're right. I think he's gonna. You know, he loves it here. I mean, you know, I like him. I wanted to say, and I think he's gonna retire a Ranger. I think you guys are right.
Has to, right? It won't be right seeing him in another jersey. And like again, we've seen that a few times. Like even you know, like again, we all grew up probably not liking the Devils too much, but like seeing Brodeur in a St. Louis Blues jersey was wrong.
Weird,
feel, you know?
Brodeur, he was fantastic.
I mean, like Brady being in a TV uniform, no one's gonna care because like you won enough. You know what I mean?
I know now. Is Gronk coming back? Is that what's going on?
Gronk's on. Yeah, he's on. He's on the Buccaneers. Yeah. He went to the Bucs.
They officially traded him for a 4th round pick. Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be wild, man. That's gonna be absolutely wild.
Everyone wants to retire to Florida, man. It's weird.
Well, it was funny because I thought Brady was gonna go. I'm like, where's he gonna go? I'm like, I can't see him. I figured it's gonna be someplace warm and sunny. So I'm like, California. I'm like, he's not gonna be a Charger. He's not gonna be a Niner. You know, where's he gonna go? So then I Florida, and sure enough, there he is, basking in the sun.
Would have loved to be on that phone call. We were talking about it's like Brady on the phone call with the Bucs ownership. Like, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna change your jerseys because I don't like them.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Gronk down here, and essentially you're gonna do whatever I want. And they were probably like, yes, sir, Mr. Brady. Whatever you need, Mr. Brady. Would you win us the Super Bowl? Possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I win half the time.
Yes.
I win half the time. All right.
You know what? They'll take it. I mean, listen, Winston. Winston's gone, so I mean.
Yeah, he's backing up Drew Brees down in New Orleans now.
That's right. I never. I love Florida State too. I know he came from there, and he had a great career there. But I never see him winning the big one, and I don't think so. So it's going to be a good move for Tampa. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Winston's the first 30-30 guy in history. 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. Like, I mean, he's just
chuck it.
Anybody. Just chucking it. Yeah.
I'm gonna help Ray transition back to the Giants for you, but you're a big college football fan. Do you have a team? Do you have a conference? What do you love about college football?
You know, I grew up. Mine has varied. I'm gonna be honest. I love the Wolverines. I like Florida State, but I go back and forth, so it's tough. I love, I even love the University of Louisiana Lafayette. I mean, I love the Raging Cajuns, man. I mean, I just love college football. I love everything about it. I almost love it more than pro, but because these kids are really going at it, and you're not going to see them. Half of them aren't going to make it anywhere, man. But they have that one game when they make that catch, and it's so great, and their whole lives change because of that. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't, but you know what? They had their shot at glory, man, and they had their chance, and that's all you could ask for in life, And if you get that and you're grateful and you have that opportunity, man, I'm happy for you, and because it doesn't happen for everybody, and you just have to relish and be grateful for it.
So 2 things. That was a phenomenal answer, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
And the second thing is a college player, Daniel Jones, who played at Duke, is now the quarterback for the New York Giants. Ray, do you have anything you'd like to ask about that?
So let me set the stage here, right? Like my concerns are. I remember, obviously, when Phil Simms played, he won his 2 Super Bowls, although Hostetler won the second one. But obviously, the Giants were great for those years. Yeah, and then they draft this kid, Dave Brown, out of Duke, the most generic named, spaghetti-armed guy I've ever seen put on the Giants uniform. And then we sucked for a while. I mean, Kerry Collins had a couple good years, but for the most part, it was a revolving door. Danny Cannell, Kent Graham. Like, wow. I mean, it was... Yeah, no, exactly. Until Eli came. Exactly. Until Eli came along, and then Eli, 21 years after Phil Simms wins our first, Eli wins Super Bowl 42, and then 46, and it's like now I am so paranoid that Daniel Jones is Dave Brown 2.0 out of Duke. They're all out of Duke. How do you draft a quarterback out of Duke?
Can you feel the New York oozing out of Ray right now? This is what the Giants do.
I love the passion. It gets me
so I want to get your thoughts. What do you think of the kid Daniel Jones?
All right, well, here it is. Okay, well, first and foremost, I didn't want to pick. I wanted the quarterback from Ohio State. His name I think I know you're talking about. Yeah, sorry. I'm talking about that. Okay, so that's so I'm like, and then I think everybody was aghast and shocked. Who? What? Yeah. Who is this guy? So okay, fine. And I'm like, all right, let's get past that. Let's get past ourselves. let's see what he could do. If he's good, he's good. Let's give him a shot. All right, he had a great preseason. And then we had Eli, and then we went back in, and everybody was kind of happy. I think that he threw a couple picks. I think his accuracy is good. He's got some nerve. I think he's going to be okay. I mean, he's got pinpoint accuracy. And I think if we surround them with some more people and Saquon just takes it right to their face, I think we're going to be okay. I think we could split this year, man. As long as if he steps up and rises to the occasion and leads the team like a quarterback has to lead a team. Yeah. Like middle linebacker has to lead the team. If he does that, they may be able to step up, man, and get in people's faces that aren't cutting their weight. Get in the guys' faces that are out till 3 a.m. partying at the clubs. Get in their face, man. It's all about the vision. It's all about the focus. If you want to do it, and if somebody's slacking, emulate Jordan. Emulate these guys that you can learn from, and do that. So, I like him as an athlete. The result is we have to wait and see.
Yeah, so Dwayne Haskins.
Now you're oozing New York.
I saw the sweating.
Yeah, I love it.
Banging the table.
Here's what I'll say to both of you. Here's what I'll say to both of you real quick. Look, and again, I'm actually saying this like as a friend here. The Eagles did a very similar pick a few years ago, getting a guy out of North Dakota named Carson Wentz. All right, and everyone had the same reaction, like, why are we drafting a quarterback from North Dakota where they don't even know what football is? Right. We also happen to have the best backup in the history of football. I don't think anybody would regard that now. He's on the Bears now. But here's the deal: I'm agreeing with what you said, Craig. Is obviously Wentz. I know he hasn't played a full season, but he's clearly the leader of this football team. He was clearly the guy that we needed to get over the hump and win a Super Bowl. So absolutely. if this should play out similarly, I can't imagine. I can't believe I'm talking nicely about the Giants here, but I can't imagine that in that room, you don't just pick a guy like that. They saw something, and they're hoping that nobody else saw it. Okay, and they're not making that decision now. Craig, here's a stat you might not know. We talked about this. About 50% of draft picks don't pan out. And I've heard the GMs talking about this.
Yeah,
it's that high. 50% of draft picks do not pan out, and they know that when they go in. So it's like any business: high risk, high reward. Mm-hmm. All right, I guarantee you, he did something in his interview that impressed them, that impressed their leadership. And again, 50% shot, it works out. But I it's tough for me. I just watched a quarterback in the same position go and win a major part, I should say, of us winning the Super Bowl. What's funny about Wentz is he's such a good guy that we just drafted another starting quarterback who knows he's going to be a backup because Wentz can't finish a season, right? Which is, I was saying, it's like actually people were giving the Eagles crap for drafting another quarterback. But I said, guys, I don't know why this is such a bad deal. You just saw us win the Super Bowl with 2 quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Maybe we're on to something too, right? So, one, get a good backup for Jones. But the thing is, like, we just don't know. And the thing is, until they build a good team around Jones, right, that's really the key, right, Ray? I mean, you agree with that. He doesn't have the tools yet to even show what he can do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that's why they relied on really went offensive line early in the draft this year. And speaking of intangibles, they took Andrew Thomas at number 4 this year, offensive lineman. And it's the same thing. You had 4, 5 top guys there at the offensive line. Why did the Giants go with him? Probably something in the interview. Probably something he said that would made him just a little bit higher than the 6'8" behemoth that the Jets took and all the other guys that ended up going, right? Like, I mean, again though, I will say again to the Giants, you can't teach 6'8", 350. That is something that you really should have reconsidered with that pick. But that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you can teach it, right? It's just, hey, get in the way.
Well, yeah. By the way, Dwayne Haskins, by the way, was the quarterback that the Redskins took that we were both looking at, Craig. Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State.
Get him.
Yeah, but now he's down in Washington, and now him and Jones will always be compared for the rest of their careers. But hopefully, Joe Judge, new coach for the Giants, has the wherewithal to use Barkley a lot more than Shermer did. To use his tight ends, to use the weapons around him, because the Giants do have weapons. If Evan Engram stays healthy, Barkley's a stud. Like,
we can do it, man. I mean, I want to utilize. I mean, I coached football a little bit for at Iona Prep for 2 years, about 6 years ago, and I mostly did defense, but we ran a lot of swing pass to the fullback. Let him go. Just hit him out on the flat. Go. You know, get 5, 6, 8 yards on the carry. You know, you
stay
break
ahead of the chains.
and move the chains, man. Listen, football. I've heard it. I've said it. I mean it from time to time and time again. It's a game of inches. It really is. When you get in the trenches, you gotta take those inches and get the advantage, whatever it is. You know, another thing that bothers me about them when they run out of bounds. I mean, you know, quarterbacks okay, but these receivers, man, take the hit for the extra 3 yards. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Fight
Not
for
at
it.
that
You gotta
level.
fight for it, right?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. That's the difference between a Super Bowl team and a non-playoff team right there alone, okay? Like, these teams that win the Super Bowl will die. They will die to win. I've said this before. We talked about the competitiveness of pro athletes. I've only said this about football. If you allowed football players to kill each other, some of them would do it, okay? Yeah. Like, that's the gladiator level of it. And I want to tell you both.
Ray Lewis?
What? Ray Lewis, Aaron Hernandez.
I wasn't going to name names. Again, I just want to tell you both. As the representative of this show from Philadelphia, I want you to know that I wish you both the worst of luck this season.
The feeling is mutual.
Yeah, exactly.
I will only root for the Giants if the Eagles are out of it and they have a chance to win because Ray's my best friend and I want them to win for him. And he would do that for me.
Yeah,
exactly.
But Eagles versus Patriots. Me and Lee actually went to Vegas for the game.
It was a tough time. It was a tough time, Craig. We had to be in Vegas.
I know. Another champagne problem. Speaking of.
Yeah. It was a good day.
But I was happy for him.
That's what true friends do. That's what friends do. And like I said, listen, it's going to be an interesting season. Let's just hope we have football. Let's just hope we have some.
Please, we need it. We need it. For the love of God.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, man. So I think on that note, thank you, Craig, so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it, man. This has been a lot of fun chatting sports with you, dude, and also old school video games. Like, that was a fun little surprise. There it is. Look at that. Look at the old school controller. I love it.
This has to be the first interview you've ever talked about this stuff on, right? Like, that's the most unique thing.
I mean, you know, I got to talk sports with another interview with a good friend of mine, Joe Pisapia. But I didn't get to whip out the Sega 95.
This is the only show you can do both. That's what I love about this show.
That's great. Guys, thank you so much, man. I had a great time. You guys rock, man. Anytime, man. This is I'll talk sports. You know, hopefully we'll come back mid-season.
Yeah, sounds good. I like the plan. I like that plan.
Cool.
But so let's plan on it. Craig, again, thank you so much. Again, you can watch him. Irishman, Green Book, Gravesend is on Amazon Prime now. He's a busy man, but that's why we appreciate even more that he took an hour out of his day to talk to a couple us two schmucks.
Well, guys, it was my pleasure. You're not two schmucks. You're two well-educated and passionate, successful sports gurus is who you are. Okay?
Thank you. Well,
don't forget that, man. You guys have the same passion I do. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on the show, man. It's a blessing. Thank you so much, man. All the luck and success to you, man.
Thank you. You too, Craig. Thank you so much.
Brother.
Keep smiling.
Thank you. Yes. So, again, thank you, Craig. For Lee, I'm Ray. This has been our latest Leaderboard interview for Geeks Who Like Sport.